and welcome to Break Run, where we talk about our top 10, our top 5, and whatever we can talk about in this lovely two-person format. And once again, I'm joined by my good friend, Mr. Dan.
Hello, and today's episode we're going to be doing the top UK dark rides. Not many, I say not many, but we've just been looking, and there is actually quite a few.
There's a really good website that we've just found called Dark Ride Database, which is basically a rollercoaster database, but for dark rides. So we've just gone through that, we've had a look, and we've came up with our top 5.
Right then.
Who's going to go first?
I think you should go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
You go first.
This, number 5, I wasn't expecting to be on the database, but actually, thinking about it, it is. Number 5, Nemesis Subterra. And this is in one of your top 5 worst rides at Alton Towers, isn't it?
I think it's like number 3 or 2 or something like that. Yeah.
I love this ride. I just think the whole experience, I think it's an immersive experience. It works fantastic.
I mean, at the time, Alton Towers did need it because we were like desperate for dark rides. Yeah. So I kind of like, I get that.
Well, it is.
But for the ride experience for myself, I can easily walk past it. Which, to be fair, now 9 out of 10 I do. I'm done with this. But yeah, I can see. I can understand. I can understand.
That's great. Right, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is actually Harrington Flint Islands of Adventure at Fantasy Island.
Is that the trackless dark ride that was from like Dubai or something?
I'm not going to lie to you. I thought nothing of it because I thought Fantasy Island, went on it, and it's really good.
Is it?
Even for the kids, like even the set pieces are incredible. They've got some really cool screenshots as well, scenes. And there's a bit where it's not Forbidden Journey vibe with the whole dome around it, but like you go a bit forward and it's like a bit like the one at
Story Touring.
Yes, it's a bit like that.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I mean, the images on the screens are amazing. Set pieces are great, like I said. It's a fantastic ride, especially for the family.
That's good. Right, number 4. My number 4 is Spirit of London at Madame Tussauds in London.
Is that the
taxi?
The
taxi one.
Oh
I love that ride. Like, I just remember as a kid going on it, going do 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 do. Like I have so many memories of that kid, that ride. And like when it was called, I remember going on it once and just randomly pressing Spanish on the thing. So it was El Amor, Le Spirit of London.
Can you change the language?
You can change the language. Yeah.
Why have I never known that?
You have to choose your language in the front of it. And like you can change it to like French, German, Spanish, Japanese.
I never knew that.
Yeah, so
that makes sense.
So imagine as a kid pressing the button and going El Español, something like that. So no, it's a great ride.
I must admit, every time I am in London, I do ride it, and it's a really good ride. I've completely forgot about that. Yeah, good shout.
Like, it's when you go around on the taxis, seeing all the Madame Tussauds wax figures, and it's actually a really good dark ride. And honestly, it's one of the Tussauds classics, if you go. I mean, like the Tussauds era classic.
It's very underrated.
It is very.
Yeah. You said that.
What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Flight of the Skyline.
Right, Flight of the Skyline is on my list at some point, so you're fine, so don't worry.
Right, so Flight of the Skyline, Legoland, I absolutely loved this ride.
I remember us coming off that for the first time together.
I know, and I was just like, what? This is amazing, like, jeez. And I mean, flying theatres are hit and misses sometimes.
Apparently there's one coming to Alton Towers, apparently, in your books.
You read it right here first. But it was really good. Although I think at time, I've not been on it for a while now, but I've heard a lot of things saying, the screens have got a bit marked here, there, and everywhere. But I just love the whole bit of the beginning spoilers. If you haven't been on it already, when you sat backwards and then all of a sudden you swing forward.
Swing around.
Never have experienced that before. No. I've done many flying theatres in the past. That one is definitely up there, and to us to have it in the UK, man, is brilliant.
It's great to have one in the UK. It's not my favourite. My favourite always will be Soaring. And also, I love Voletarium at Europa Park. But having one in the UK, that's like not themed to the Lego Movie. It's great. It's just having its own like original thing.
And the quality of the picture is so good.
It is. And like, okay, we can say the effects have gone on and off all the time, but actually they do keep coming back once they top them up.
They're there once every 6 months. Let's fill it up. But I get that, mate. But yes. So what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Hex, the Legend of the Towers. I love Hex. I adore this thing. Like, I love Vekoma Madhouses. Some of them, not all.
Yes. There are some very poor
There are some very poor ones out there. Not naming names. Villa Volta, Efteling. But they're great. They're a good ride, but Hex just takes it to the next immersion. I think it has the best on-ride soundtrack ever. And like, where else can you go and hear what his name from Downton Abbey talk to you and go, it's a cold autumn night in 1821.
Sealed for 2
centuries.
So good.
But I'm so glad it's coming back for this season, and I can't wait to get on it many, many times this season.
I think, I think it is. See how long it lasts.
I think it's good. I love it when you go on with a massive group of friends. Remember when we went on it with loads of people on Gangster Granny's opening day? Everyone together on there. It was great, wasn't it?
I must admit, it's a good ride.
It is a good
ride.
ride.
I like that. Well done.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Valhalla at Blackpool. Valhalla. Great ride, fantastic. It took nearly like 3 years, I think it was, to refurb the whole shebang. The effects, I say that, but half the time you're like this because you're wet, so you're covering yourself, so you don't really see much.
Yeah.
But yes, amazing theming around it. Ice, water, fire. Oh, it's
you were
so
there
good.
on the press day, weren't you, with Sean?
I was. Which was amazing. And it was good. It was good to get back on it. It's good for Blackpool because Blackpool needs stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. And yeah, I think Valhalla is definitely up there in my top 5 as number 3.
I'm gonna make you really sad. I've never done Valhalla in any form. Never done
That's
it.
really surprising me, dude.
I know. Well, I've been to Blackpool before, but I always went in November. So it was like, it's too cold.
Yeah, far too cold. And you will get wet, and you will be literally walking around the park freezing.
And I'm fine getting like my clothes wet. It's my shoes. That's why I'm going to take my Crocs the next time I go.
Oh my god, here we go.
Right.
Don't even talk about my Crocs. Right. So what's your number 2?
My number 2 is actually Flight of the Skylion. We've already spoken about this. Fantastic flying theatre, and honestly, very, very good ride.
Yes.
I think the area complements it as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do think though I don't know about when you first see it, it just looks like this big giant block with a line sticking out of it. I just think it's a bit
Lego. It's a big block.
Lego, just that. I don't know. Maybe when you first look at it, it's not nothing special. But I suppose what can you really do with a flying?
Yeah.
I think the one where we went to Europa Park, that was an amazing grand. And even the queue line. The queue line was
the queue line's amazing.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
But I think the actual video and ride experience on Skyline is really good for the UK. I think it's just a Merlin Legoland queue line of just a tin fence queue line, isn't it? Realistically, but we don't talk about that. So your number 2.
My number 2.
Yeah.
Is The Curse at Alton Manor.
Curse at Alton Manor.
Right, with this obviously opened last season, obviously revamped from Jewel.
Yeah.
What a ride. It's really, really good. I came off it going, finally, Alton Towers have listened. Love this ride. And now it's great that the fact that they've fixed these little quiet areas, these blank spaces, which is awesome. And yeah, I just, it's so good. Every time I go in there, though, there seems to be something new. Which is really cool. But yeah, I'm just glad that it's actually finally opened, and then we've got a really decent dark ride in the UK.
Finally. And like, I remember going on it on opening day, and yes, it was a big queue, but that ride eats its queue massively. I think it's a fantastic dark ride, and I'm going to swiftly go into my number 1, because my number 1 is Curse at Alton Manor as well. And
not arguing that.
No, Curse at Alton Manor is just a fantastic dark ride. It is one of the best in the UK and one of the best in Europe, I'd say. I can say there could be some improvements, but they're not massive. I think they're more of that. On some of the scenes, you're going into them where the car in front of them's already ending, so you kind of
timing's a bit wrong.
Timing, you miss it a touch. But apart from that, it's a genuinely very good dark ride. I thought, in my opinion, it is one of the best marketing campaigns that Merlin have ever done, and I'm saying the same with Nemesis at the minute. And whatever Towers marketing they've done and the budget they've got is very good, and they're smashing it.
I must admit, when they had the opening for Curse, I remember all the actors were at the front.
Yeah.
And they had that push chair which kept moving about, which was great. Yeah. The queue line is amazing. I mean, not the outside bit is okay.
Well, at least they've got like a constant like smoke effect, and like mist and eerie atmosphere. And the indoor queue line is genuinely very good,
especially with the whole like
the walkthrough. What's it called, pre-show that you can stop and watch, and it's got a good story, a very good story.
I think though you need to stop in there. I feel like if it's quiet, people will miss it. if they've never been on it before, so they'll never experience that.
Like us, we just stop and watch it.
And everyone's like, what are these?
And then everyone just stops behind you, and you're like, no, guys, you can keep going past. Keep going.
So now I want to see what's going on. What you guys are looking at? Yeah, so good fun, mate. But I completely agree. Yeah. I'm not going to argue with you because it is a fantastic ride, and I think it'd be a lot of people's.
And I'm really intrigued now. What is your number one?
My number one, believe it or not, is your number 3 or 4, is Hex.
Oh, yes.
I have such a soft spot for Hex. It was my first. No, it wasn't my first. I'm not that young, but it's I'm really old.
2000.
Yeah. I just love everything about it, like you were saying earlier on, with the whole storyline behind it all, the voice, the music's incredible. The ride, not as much, but it's just the whole build-up to getting onto that ride.
Yeah.
And I've never been on a ride where you have like literally 3 pre-shows before you enter. Some people think that's annoying. Some people are like, can we just hurry up and get on the ride? It
builds the story.
Exactly. And I don't know any other dark ride that does that.
Because with Hex, you start in the first bit, you learn about the Earl of Shrewsbury. Then you go into the next bit, you learn about what happened to the Earl of Shrewsbury. And then you go on to the restoring and how they found the ancient crypt. And then that leads you straight onto the ride. It works perfectly.
Behind an ancient bookcase.
But if you ever in the queue line for Hex, or when you're walking through, feel the wall, okay? Tap the wall, okay, randomly.
Right.
Tap the wall, you can feel the actual towers, and then you feel like plastic because it goes to like... fake towers,
right?
Because it's built in a show building around the back. So, like,
I'm surprised that they don't do many of behind the scenes of Hex.
Hex would they used to do them years ago on like
because it's never open,
on enthusiast groups doing them. But I think that one would go down really well.
I would go and watch that.
I would do that one and a Curse at All Manor one as well.
Yeah. I used to work on Jules, so yeah,
well,
it'd be different.
It'd be different,
completely different. But overall, I think Hex, love it to pieces. I'm so glad when they said it was coming back. I was worried when they were going to say they were going to close it. I was like, no, we've got such a decent, storyline, dark ride, and now you're going to get rid of it. No, it's gone. No, it's not gone, but it's like, it's here to stay now.
I'm more surprised we've gone through an episode and not actually had an argument.
I know.
This is great. Oh. So yeah, there you go.
But guys, thank you so much for watching. Why don't you let us know what is your number 1 UK dark ride? Do you agree with Jake? Do you think, what was it again?
The Curse at All Manor.
Or do you think Hex is your number 1? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget you can follow us on our social medias on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and TikTok. And if you are new to this channel, make sure you do subscribe and hit this bell icon. Every time we upload a new video, you will be notified. So I'm Dan.
And I'm Jake.
And thank you for watching. And as always,
happy riding.
That's the one.